Have you ever wondered if there's a single sentence so powerful that when spoken with absolute conviction, it could transform your financial reality overnight? What if I told you that attracting immense wealth isn't about grinding away at a job you hate or waiting for lucky breaks, but instead flows from the words you speak in the secret chambers of your heart? This might sound too simple to be true, and that's precisely why most people miss it. But before we begin, please hit the like button and let me know where in the world you're watching from today. It's always fascinating seeing who's joining us from around the world. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our future videos. Has this ever happened to you? You work harder, longer hours, you educate yourself, you network, and yet financial abundance seems to dance just beyond your reach. What if the problem isn't your strategy, but your identity, the words you whisper to yourself when no one else is listening? Joseph Murphy discovered a profound truth that has remained hidden in plain sight for centuries. A single declaration, properly rooted in your imagination and sealed with genuine feeling, has the power to eliminate poverty and attract abundance beyond what you can imagine. Stay with me until the end of this video, because what you're about to learn might completely revolutionize how you approach money forever. Think about it. What follows the words "I am" in your daily internal conversation? I am broke. I am struggling. I am always behind on bills. Each of these declarations is planting seeds in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind, and your reality has no choice but to reflect those seeds back to you. Your past financial struggles weren't caused by bad luck or insufficient effort. They were merely reflections of false beliefs embedded in your consciousness, beliefs that can be replaced today with the conviction that riches are yours now. What you're about to discover might surprise you because it contradicts everything society has taught you about wealth creation. The world you experience is a mirror reflecting your deepest beliefs about yourself and your relationship with money. When you declare bankruptcy within, the world cannot help but declare it without. But what happens when you flip this script? What happens when you speak a new financial truth into existence with unwavering certainty? Imagine walking through life with the quiet confidence of someone who knows that abundance is already theirs, not as a distant hope, but as a present reality. Imagine the feeling of relief, gratitude, and joy that comes when financial worries dissolve completely. This isn't fantasy, it's the natural result of aligning your inner word with universal law. The secret lies in a particular declaration, one that, when spoken with the right feeling and belief, begins to rearrange your entire financial reality. I want to reveal the essence of what makes this approach so transformative. You see, the creative power lies in two simple words: I am. These words are not just grammatical constructions, they're the gateway to the creative force of the universe itself. If you've found value in these wealth principles, hit subscribe to receive more of these transformational teachings. I reveal hidden keys to prosperity that most financial experts never mention. Joseph Murphy discovered that when you speak the creative words, I am, fortune no longer hides from you but hastens to serve you. It's as if those two words activate a cosmic response system that begins working on your behalf. This represents a complete paradigm shift from what we've been taught about wealth creation. Society has conditioned us to believe that money only comes through hard work, specialized education, or pure luck. We're told the path to abundance requires sacrifice, struggle, and often decades of effort. But the hidden truth that's been concealed from most people is that your inner speech, those words you whisper within the privacy of your own mind, creates the template that the outer world must follow. Consider this revelation. When you believe yourself poor, life cannot help but mirror that poverty back to you. It's not because the universe is cruel or because you're being punished. It's simply the operation of an eternal law that responds with perfect precision to your dominant thoughts and feelings, as within, so without. The journey from scarcity to abundance begins with this fundamental mindset transformation. But when you speak words of wealth from the throne of I am, something remarkable happens. The entire fabric of your reality begins to rearrange itself to clothe you in abundance. Opportunities that were invisible before suddenly become apparent. Resources align. People who can assist you appear in your life as if by coincidence. Except there are no coincidences in this process. This isn't some kind of trick or manipulation. It's the application of an eternal law that has been operating in your life, whether you've been aware of it or not. The impact of understanding this principle goes far beyond just financial benefits. It touches every aspect of your existence. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic and explore exactly how to make this principle work in your daily life. The words, I am, serve as the doorway to your subconscious mind, which doesn't distinguish between what is objectively real and what is vividly imagined with feeling. Your subconscious accepts whatever follows those two powerful words as a command to be fulfilled. Behind the scenes, your mind is constantly working to bring your self-concept into physical manifestation. This explains why two people with similar backgrounds, education, and opportunities can experience dramatically different results. The difference isn't external. It's the internal dialogue they maintain about themselves and their relationship with money. Write in the comments, I am wealth, if you're ready to transform your financial identity starting today. Let me reveal something powerful that most wealth teachers deliberately keep hidden from their students. In this profound teaching, Joseph Murphy unveils the exact sentence that commands money to appear in your life. This isn't just another empty affirmation. It's a precise formula that, when spoken once with unwavering faith, never fails to manifest. The sentence itself is deceptively simple. I am wealth in overflowing measure, yet its impact on your financial reality can be revolutionary when used correctly. The revelation here isn't just in the words themselves, but in how they're spoken, when they're spoken, and the consciousness behind them. Murphy teaches that there exists a special state, similar to sleep, but distinctly different, where your conscious mind's resistance is lowered and your subconscious becomes extraordinarily receptive. In this twilight zone between wakefulness and sleep, the sentence sinks into what he calls the womb of creation, where all manifestation begins. This sacred moment before sleep is when the barriers between your conscious intentions and your subconscious power temporarily dissolve. The journey toward mastery of this principle involves examining real-life case studies, ordinary people who have spoken this declaration and received fortune sometimes within days or weeks. One businessman, after losing everything, used this principle and attracted an unexpected opportunity that restored his wealth beyond previous levels. A single mother spoke this sentence nightly and within a month received 3 surprising sources of income that transformed her financial situation. What makes these transformations possible? The hidden truth is that feeling is the secret to manifestation, not repetition, not volume, not even the specific words themselves. When you speak, I am, wealth in overflowing measure, the degree to which you feel the reality of that statement determines its power. Your emotional resonance acts as the bridge between thought and manifestation. Along this journey of discovery, you'll understand why doubt acts as a destructive force that neutralizes your creative power. Each time doubt arises, it plants competing seeds in the garden of your mind. You'll also learn why maintaining silence after speaking your word represents the ultimate demonstration of faith. Just as a farmer doesn't dig up seeds daily to check their progress, your silence communicates complete trust in the invisible process already underway. This mindset revolution transforms how you perceive the acquisition of money itself. You'll never again view wealth as something you must struggle to earn, but rather as something you naturally summon through your word. This represents a fundamental shift in consciousness that alters your entire relationship with abundance. Comment below with, "I am the master of my financial destiny," if you're experiencing a breakthrough moment right now. Let me illuminate a principle that completely transforms how you perceive reality. The physical world you touch and interact with daily is, in essence, merely a loud echo of the word you whisper within yourself. I'm not talking about what you verbalize with your lips in moments of frustration or celebration, but rather what you deeply accept as your identity through the powerful words, "I am." This revelation shifts your entire perspective on causality. Whatever follows "I am" in your consciousness eventually comes to pass in your external reality. It's an immutable law that operates without considering your worthiness, your past failures, or your current circumstances. This law functions with perfect precision, whether you're aware of it or not, whether you believe in it or not. Many who hear this teaching for the first time experience resistance, not because it's complicated, but precisely because of its radical simplicity. The truth is, simplicity itself becomes a scandal to the human mind that has been conditioned to believe that valuable solutions must be complex, difficult, and accessible only to the elite or specially educated. Join our community of conscious creators by subscribing to this channel. I share these powerful manifestation techniques, going deeper than most dare to venture into the real science of abundance. Joseph Murphy observed that this principle is like the cornerstone that builders reject because it appears too plain, too obvious, too accessible. Yet paradoxically, this seemingly insignificant stone becomes the very foundation upon which lasting transformation is built. The masters of every age have discovered that profound wisdom often wears the disguise of simplicity. Consider how this plays out in your financial reality. When you declare, "I am financially struggling," or "I am always short of money," you're not merely describing your current circumstances. You're actually issuing commands to your subconscious mind, which then orchestrates events, opportunities, and circumstances to align with that declaration. Your outer world becomes the perfect reflection of your inner dialogue. The brilliance of this understanding lies in its application. By consciously choosing what follows, "I am," you redirect the entire trajectory of your financial journey. This represents a fundamental paradigm shift that puts you at the creative center of your experience rather than leaving you as a passive recipient of random economic forces. This power operates through a fascinating inner mechanism. Your subconscious mind doesn't distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you physically experience. When you declare, "I am wealth in overflowing measure," with genuine feeling and conviction, your subconscious accepts this as an instruction to be carried out, not someday in the distant future, but as a present reality that must manifest. Share in the comments what comes after your "I am" statements when you think about money. Be honest. Awareness is the first step to transformation. Now, let's explore a profound insight that completely contradicts conventional financial wisdom. According to Joseph Murphy's teaching, money responds primarily to your identity, not your effort. This revelation explains why some people work tirelessly their entire lives, yet struggle financially, while others seem to attract wealth with apparent ease. Consider this carefully. If you maintain an identity rooted in lack, constantly telling yourself, "I am broke, I am behind, I am unlucky," you could plant 1,000 fields and still reap only weeds. Your actions, no matter how diligent, cannot outperform the limitations of your self-concept. Keep the wrong name, and you inevitably keep the wrong life. Maintain the old word, and you preserve the old world with all its limitations. This perspective represents a complete paradigm shift in how we understand wealth creation. Most of us have been conditioned to believe that financial abundance comes exclusively through hustle, strategic planning, specialized knowledge, or beneficial connections. While these elements certainly have their place, they operate as secondary factors, not primary causes. Murphy offers something revolutionary. He places the right word in your hand and teaches you to speak it as a sovereign would speak, once with absolute faith, and then sit down and watch as the world rises to serve you. To those programmed by conventional thinking, this approach seems not just counterintuitive, but possibly irresponsible or delusional. Yet, behind the scenes of every great fortune, this principle operates whether acknowledged or not. The most successful entrepreneurs, investors, and business leaders all share a common trait. They possessed an unshakable inner certainty about their prosperity before external circumstances confirmed it. Their identity preceded and summoned their results. The brilliance of this teaching lies in its accessibility. You don't need special credentials, insider knowledge, or years of specialized education to implement it. The transformation begins the moment you consciously decide which identity you'll embrace. This represents true empowerment, not waiting for external validation to feel financially secure, but claiming that security first in consciousness. This spiritual approach to wealth doesn't negate practical action, rather it properly sequences it. When your identity shifts from scarcity to abundance, your actions naturally align with that new consciousness. You'll find yourself making decisions, spotting opportunities, and taking initiatives that were previously invisible to you, not because the world changed, but because you did. Drop a comment with "Identity precedes reality" if this principle has illuminated something significant for you. Let's explore a critical principle that completely reorganizes our understanding of wealth creation. Joseph Murphy doesn't deny the importance of action in manifesting financial abundance. Rather, he reveals its proper place in the sequence of creation. The word comes first, and the deed follows. This mirrors the fundamental pattern we see throughout nature and spiritual texts. First the seed, then the harvest. First the blueprint, then the building. When you declare with inner authority, "I am wealth," you're not begging or pleading for money from external sources. Instead, you're making a profound energetic shift by assigning yourself as the source of abundance. You're claiming the root rather than merely tugging at the branches. This represents a fundamental identity transformation that precedes all meaningful external change. Most wealth-seeking approaches have this sequence backward. They suggest that if you perform certain actions, acquire specific skills, or implement particular strategies, then eventually you'll become wealthy. Murphy's revelation turns this completely upside down. First establish the state of being wealthy in consciousness, then allow appropriate actions to flow naturally from that new state. This principle operates through a fascinating mechanism. When you make the declaration, "I am wealth," with genuine conviction, the world literally hears this decree through the depths of your being and begins what Murphy calls a holy rearrangement of circumstances. Doors begin opening that you couldn't have planned through strategic thinking alone. People appear in your life carrying opportunities you couldn't have orchestrated. Solutions and pathways emerge that seem to right themselves. The skeptical mind dismisses these events as mere coincidences or random occurrences, but Murphy identifies them as direct obedience to your inner command. This explains why two people can implement identical financial strategies with dramatically different results. The external actions may appear identical, but the inner decree, the consciousness behind those actions, differs profoundly. I've witnessed this principle transform lives repeatedly. One client maintained a modest income for decades, despite multiple advanced degrees and certifications. After embracing this teaching and shifting her inner declaration, 3 major opportunities emerged within weeks. Opportunities that had theoretically been available before, but remained invisible to her previous consciousness. The journey of manifestation always unfolds from the inside out. Your external world functions as a perfect mirror, reflecting back to you the essence of your deepest beliefs about yourself and your relationship with abundance. The revelation here is that changing your external conditions doesn't require manipulating countless circumstances. It requires adjusting the single point of consciousness from which all those circumstances flow. Type "consciousness precedes circumstance" in the comments if you're beginning to see how this principle has been operating in your financial life all along. To truly understand the mechanics of manifestation, let's observe something we've all witnessed yet rarely analyzed. Watch a child at play. When a child places a paper crown on their head and declares, "I am a king," something remarkable happens. In that very instant, their posture straightens, their voice takes on a commanding tone, and they gesture with a natural authority that transforms the room around them. What's fascinating is that the room responds not because the child is pretending, but precisely because the child isn't pretending at all. In that moment, they genuinely believe. Their entire being, body, voice, energy, shifts instantly to align with their chosen identity. The child doesn't think, "One day I'll be a king," or "I'm practicing to be a king." In their consciousness, the transformation is complete and immediate. This seemingly innocent example reveals the catalyst behind all genuine transformation. The feeling of being what you declare creates an energetic resonance that the universe instinctively responds to. This feeling state becomes the bridge between your declaration and its physical manifestation. Joseph Murphy shares a personal revelation that perfectly illustrates this principle. He once desired to visit his father's house across the sea, but lacked the necessary fare for travel. Rather than focusing on the absence of money or creating elaborate plans to obtain it, he applied this law directly. Each night in his imagination, he would enter his father's home, feeling the texture of the old wood beneath his fingers, smelling the distinctive sea air, hearing the familiar voices he loved. Most importantly, he made a critical distinction in his declaration. He didn't say, "I will be there," which would have been an admission of current absence. Instead, he declared with quiet certainty, "I am there." Notice the present tense, the declaration of current possession rather than future attainment. This subtle distinction carries enormous power. The present tense formulation directly accesses what psychologists now call the embodied mind, the understanding that consciousness doesn't reside solely in the brain, but throughout the entire nervous system. When you declare, "I am wealth," rather than "I will be wealthy," you initiate an immediate physiological response that begins aligning your entire being with that declaration. This present tense declaration activates what neuroscientists identify as the reticular activating system, the filtering mechanism in your brain that determines what information reaches your conscious awareness. When you declare, "I am wealth," this system immediately begins noticing opportunities, resources, and pathways to abundance that were always present but previously filtered out of your awareness. Type "present tense creates presence" in the comments if you've experienced how the words you choose shape what you notice in your environment. Let me reveal what happened after Joseph Murphy made this powerful inner claim. Having declared, "I am there" with complete conviction while imagining his father's home, Murphy then did something crucial. He fell asleep in that consciousness, what he called the holy name of already being at his destination. He didn't anxiously plan or strategize about how the journey would materialize. He simply rested in the certainty of its completion. What followed demonstrates the profound mystery at work in this process. Within just days, the bridge between desire and manifestation began appearing in his reality. Letters arrived unexpectedly. Tickets materialized through channels he hadn't pursued. All manner of movement he hadn't personally orchestrated began flowing toward him, culminating in his sailing across the sea to his destination. This revelation illuminates something extraordinary about the manifestation journey. Murphy emphasizes that he didn't make it happen through personal effort or clever maneuvering. The word itself made the way. The name he claimed in consciousness drew the ship to his shore. He had spoken once with authority, and the world simply obeyed the echo of his inner claim. This experience led to one of Murphy's most revolutionary teachings: money is not earned, but named. This perspective represents a complete paradigm shift in our understanding of wealth. Rather than chasing after dollars through endless toil and sacrifice, you're invited to claim the identity of abundance first. When you take the name of wealth in consciousness, the streams of prosperity naturally rise to find you. The inverse of this principle reveals why so many struggle financially, despite tremendous effort. When you refuse the name of wealth by maintaining an identity rooted in lack, the very streams you chase flee from you, though you pursue them to the edge of the earth. Your effort doesn't create your financial reality, your identity does. This revelation resolves the paradox many observe in the marketplace: why some people work tirelessly yet remain in scarcity, while others seem to attract abundance with apparent ease. The transformation begins not with changing your strategy, but with shifting your identity. The moment you genuinely embody the consciousness of "I am wealth," you activate a magnetic resonance that draws resources toward you through pathways you couldn't have engineered through strategic planning alone. What makes this approach so powerful is its alignment with universal principles we see operating throughout nature. Every manifestation begins with a seed containing the complete blueprint of what's to unfold. Your declaration, "I am wealth," functions as that seed, containing within it the full expression of prosperity that will ultimately manifest in your experience. Comment: the name precedes the manifestation if you're seeing how this principle has been operating in your life all along. Now I want to explore the actual delivery method of this powerful declaration. When you take this name of wealth in practice, your approach matters tremendously. Joseph Murphy teaches that you must speak as a ruler gives a decree, calmly, simply, and with finality. This is not about volume or dramatics, it's about the quiet authority behind your words. Consider how a true sovereign issues commands. They don't shout, bargain, plead, or put on a performance. They speak with the serene confidence of someone who knows without question that their decree will be carried out. The power isn't in the presentation, but in the absolute certainty beneath the words. This represents a profound departure from how most people approach affirmations or positive statements. Many recite affirmations with an underlying anxiety, desperately hoping they'll work while simultaneously doubting their effectiveness. This conflicted delivery undermines the very power they're attempting to harness. When you say within yourself, "I am wealth in overflowing measure," Murphy emphasizes that you should feel the ease, dignity, and quiet joy of this statement. The feeling quality cannot be overemphasized. It serves as the energetic signature that accompanies your declaration into the creative realm of your subconscious mind. After speaking your decree with this quiet authority comes perhaps the most challenging aspect of the practice: seal your lips. Resist the temptation to correct it with anxious repetitions, as this would be a confession that you weren't heard the first time. Each repetition born from doubt actually contradicts your original declaration, creating conflicting instructions to your subconscious mind. The transformation of your mindset becomes evident in this moment of silence following your decree. Can you rest in the conviction that your word has been received? Can you trust that the law of manifestation is already in motion on your behalf? This requires a profound inner revolution, shifting from the paradigm of hoping and trying to the consciousness of knowing and being. Remember that the law doesn't fail. The echo of your declaration is already on its way back to you in the form of corresponding circumstances, opportunities, and resources. Just as a stone thrown into a pond creates ripples that inevitably reach the shore, your decree of I am wealth sends vibrations throughout the fabric of your reality that must return as tangible evidence in your experience. Behind the scenes, this process operates through what psychologists now recognize as cognitive resonance, the tendency for your perception, attention, and interpretation of events to align with your dominant beliefs. When you genuinely embody the consciousness of wealth, you naturally begin recognizing and responding to opportunities your previous mindset would have filtered out entirely. Leave a comment with "Speak with quiet authority" if you're ready to transform how you deliver your declarations. Let me address a common objection that surfaces whenever this teaching is shared. You might protest, "But what if I'm just lying to myself? My bank account is empty right now. Isn't declaring I am wealth just self-deception?" This question reveals a profound misunderstanding about the relationship between reality and consciousness. Joseph Murphy offers this revelation: you don't lie when you claim the name of abundance. You lie when you claim the name of lack. This perspective-shifting insight challenges everything we've been taught about truth and falsehood. Your physical senses can only report what has already manifested. They're designed to perceive the harvest of yesterday's consciousness, not today's decree. They cannot foretell the future that your current declaration is creating. This principle operates through what quantum physicists now recognize as the observer effect, the fact that consciousness itself influences what materializes in your experience. The senses, by their very nature, are backward-looking instruments. They show you what has been created, not what is currently being created, through your present consciousness. To implement this teaching effectively, Murphy offers a specific practice pattern that harnesses the natural receptivity of your mind during the transition to sleep. Night represents what he calls the clean doorway to the mind. That sacred time when the analytical, doubting conscious mind naturally relaxes its guard, allowing direct access to the creative subconscious. The practice is elegantly simple. As you prepare for sleep, sit or lie down comfortably. Allow your body to grow quiet and still. Take one soft, gentle breath, and on the stillness that follows, whisper in your heart, not with your physical lips, I am wealth in overflowing measure. This silent declaration bypasses the resistance of your conscious mind and plants directly into the fertile soil of your subconscious. Then comes perhaps the most crucial instruction: do nothing. This deliberate non-action represents a profound vote of confidence in the creative process already initiated. Most people undermine their declarations by immediately following them with anxious analysis, planning, or doubt. The transformative power lies in this moment of surrender, allowing the seed to sink undisturbed into the depths of consciousness. The twilight state between wakefulness and sleep represents a unique threshold of consciousness where manifestation operates with exceptional power. Neuroscience now confirms that this hypnagogic state is characterized by theta brainwaves, the same brainwave pattern associated with deep meditation, heightened creativity, and accelerated learning. In this receptive state, your declaration bypasses the critical faculty and enters directly into the formative realm of consciousness. Share in the comments Twilight Declaration if you're planning to implement this practice tonight before sleep. Let me guide you through the most critical aspect of this practice: what happens after you've spoken your declaration. Joseph Murphy uses a powerful metaphor to describe this process. Let your sentence drop like a stone into the deep waters of consciousness. Just as a stone creates ripples that extend to the furthest shores, your declaration sends energetic waves throughout your entire being and external reality. Feel those ripples spreading outward from the center of your declaration. Allow your body to rest in what Murphy calls the afterglow of this profound act of consciousness. This afterglow state is where the real magic of transformation happens. It's the energetic signature that accompanies your declaration into the quantum field of possibility. What about the inevitable thoughts that arise after you've made your declaration? This is where most people sabotage their practice. Murphy offers a liberating perspective. If thoughts arise, whether doubts, questions, or contradictions, let them pass like birds flying over a lake. Don't chase them. Don't try to fix or argue with them. Don't engage them in battle. Your declaration is already falling into the rich soil of the unseen realm, and the morning will know what to do. A question naturally arises at this point. Is speaking your decree just once really sufficient? In our culture of repetition and reinforcement, this seems counterintuitive, but Murphy offers this powerful insight. A true ruler doesn't stamp the same order 10 times. A judge doesn't sign the same decree repeatedly each hour. Authority speaks once, and in that singular utterance lies complete creative power. This revelation transforms how we approach the manifestation process. The conscious repetition of your declaration often stems from doubt rather than faith, each repetition subtly confessing that you don't believe you were heard the first time. This paradoxically weakens rather than strengthens the impact of your word. If you feel the urge to repeat your declaration, Murphy offers this breakthrough guidance. Don't repeat the request. Repeat your rest. This distinction represents a profound shift in consciousness. Instead of anxiously reiterating your desire, simply return to the state of peaceful certainty that follows a command given with true authority. The journey of manifestation involves a delicate balance between decisive action and receptive surrender. Your part is to speak the decree once with the full authority of your being. The universe's part is to arrange the countless details, synchronicities, and pathways through which your declaration will materialize. Your ongoing rest in this certainty actually accelerates rather than delays the manifestation process. Comment: authority speaks once. If you're experiencing a paradigm shift in how you understand the manifestation process, let me reveal a powerful practice that transforms how manifestation operates in your life. When fear inevitably rises after making your declaration, demanding proof or urging you to repeat your request, Joseph Murphy teaches us to answer that fear not with more words, but with profound silence. Simply smile inwardly and affirm within yourself, "It is done." This inner response represents a revolutionary shift in consciousness, the transition from asking to acknowledging, from seeking to receiving. In this moment, gratitude becomes your most powerful ally. Give thanks, not as a technique or strategy, but as the natural expression of someone who recognizes that what they've declared is already accomplished in consciousness. Murphy beautifully describes Thanksgiving as the perfume of finished things, the fragrance that naturally arises when manifestation is complete. The breakthrough insight here is that your daily conduct following your declaration becomes the living proof of your faith. Walk through each day with what Murphy calls the quiet posture of one who has already arrived. This isn't about pretending or forcing yourself to act wealthy while feeling poor inside. Rather, it's allowing your genuine inner certainty to express itself naturally through your demeanor, decisions, and interactions. This posture of completion activates what psychologists now recognize as embodied cognition, the understanding that your physical bearing directly influences your mental and emotional states. By carrying yourself with the dignity of someone already in possession of wealth, you create an alignment between your physical expression and your inner declaration. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by offering you a powerful image that dissolves doubt and accelerates manifestation. Murphy invites us to hold this picture in mind. A farmer places a single seed in living earth and then, crucially, does not dig it up hourly to see if it lives. He waters, waits, and trusts the hidden law of germination to do its perfect work. In this profound metaphor, you are that farmer. Your declaration, "I am wealth in overflowing measure," is that seed. The soil represents your subconscious mind, the fertile ground where all manifestation begins. Your job is remarkably simple, yet requires immense spiritual maturity. Plant once with genuine faith, and then let the law be the law. The revelation here exposes why so many manifestation efforts fail. Just as a farmer who constantly unearths his seeds to check their progress would prevent any harvest, a person who anxiously examines their reality for immediate evidence after making a declaration interrupts the very process they're attempting to activate. The journey from seed to harvest follows an invisible timeline that cannot be rushed by impatience or delayed by trust. Drop "I trust the invisible process" in the comments if you're committed to allowing your declarations to unfold without anxious interference. Let me share a profound insight about the manifestation process that few teachers ever reveal. The strength of your rest after making your declaration directly determines how swiftly your manifestation occurs. This isn't just poetic language, it's a precise description of how the creative principle operates. The more complete your inner rest, the faster your outer results appear. Joseph Murphy observed this pattern repeatedly. Those who could maintain the deepest state of peaceful certainty after declaring "I am wealth" experienced the swiftest transformations in their financial circumstances. This rest isn't passive resignation, but active faith, the profound conviction that allows you to relax completely into the knowledge that the universal law is already working on your behalf. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by revealing a challenging truth that will ultimately free you from the habit that keeps most people locked in financial struggle. This revelation may initially feel uncomfortable, but it offers the key to permanent liberation. If the right decree builds wealth, then the wrong decree inevitably builds want. The very word that has the power to construct your financial palace can simultaneously forge your financial prison. The creative decree of "I am" operates with perfect impartiality. It creates with equal precision, whether you speak in wisdom or folly, whether you name yourself in abundance or lack. The law doesn't discriminate based on what you deserve or what seems logical. It simply obeys whatever follows "I am" in your consciousness. This revelation exposes why so many wealth creation strategies fail to produce lasting results. Most approaches attempt to change external circumstances while leaving the inner declaration untouched. But the external world merely echoes your internal conversation. When you consistently declare "I am broke," "I never have enough," or "money slips through my fingers," you're issuing binding commands to your subconscious mind, which then orchestrates corresponding experiences. The awakening happens when you recognize that this same creative mechanism that has manifested limitation can be redirected to manifest abundance with equal precision. This represents the ultimate paradigm shift in financial consciousness, moving from victim to creator, from effect to cause, from passive receiver to active determiner of your economic reality. Behind the scenes of every financial transformation lies this fundamental identity revolution. Those who experience sudden windfalls, unexpected opportunities, or seemingly miraculous financial breakthroughs have, consciously or unconsciously, altered their core I am declaration. The outer change always follows an inner shift in who they understand themselves to be. Type conscious creator in the comments if you're ready to take responsibility for the financial reality your words have been creating. Let me share a profound insight that reveals why some people remain trapped in financial struggle despite their best efforts. Every time you sigh and mutter, "I am broke," "I am cursed," or "I am unlucky," you're not just describing your situation. You're actively planting a seed that will grow into your future experience. The earth of your subconscious mind receives that seed with perfect impartiality and begins the process of giving it tangible form in your reality. This is the hidden danger that most people never recognize. You use the creative power of I am unceasingly, whether consciously or unconsciously. Every casual complaint, every frustrated statement about your financial situation, every resigned acceptance of limitation becomes a creative command to your subconscious mind. The declaration doesn't distinguish between what you want and what you don't want. It simply takes whatever follows I am and manifests it with perfect precision. Joseph Murphy discovered something revolutionary about the root cause of financial struggle. The true error of poverty isn't an empty wallet or bank account. These are merely external symptoms. The real cause is the inward litany of lack that plays continuously in your mind and speech. Every sigh of defeat, every whisper of fear, every casual declaration of "I can't afford that" or "I'll never get out of debt" represents a misuse of what Murphy calls the divine name of I am. This revelation transforms how we understand financial transformation. The word of creation, faithful to its nature, doesn't correct your misstatements or filter out your negative declarations. It doesn't say, "You didn't really mean that you're broke, so I'll ignore it." The creative principle simply fulfills whatever you declare, whether for abundance or limitation. The journey toward financial liberation begins with a profound awareness of this inner conversation. Most people remain completely unconscious of how frequently they misuse the creative power through negative financial declarations. They wonder why their circumstances don't improve despite their best efforts, not realizing that their casual self-talk is systematically undermining every positive action they take. This understanding represents a decisive turning point in your relationship with money. The awakening happens when you recognize that the same mechanism that has kept you in limitation can be consciously redirected toward abundance. The creative principle doesn't change. Your use of it does. The transformation begins by becoming intensely aware of your habitual financial declarations. Start noticing how often you inadvertently plant seeds of limitation through careless statements about money. This awareness itself begins interrupting patterns that may have operated unconsciously for decades. Type, "I guard my declarations" in the comments if you're committing to become more conscious of the financial seeds you're planting through your words. Now, I want to illuminate an eternal principle that explains why your financial declarations carry such immense creative power. As ancient scripture reminds us, "My word shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please." This isn't merely poetic language. It's a precise description of how consciousness creates reality. Your word always returns to you, clothed in the very garment you gave it, through your feeling and conviction. This revelation transforms how we understand the causal relationship between our thoughts and life circumstances. If you habitually name yourself weak in consciousness, that word returns, bringing weakness in experience. If you consistently call yourself small, that declaration builds smallness in your reality. The creative principle doesn't judge whether your declaration serves your highest good. It simply fulfills whatever you plant in the fertile soil of your subconscious mind. The most profound awakening happens when you recognize that what you've been calling reality is actually the harvest of seeds you've previously planted through your dominant thoughts and feelings. Your current financial circumstances represent the perfect echo of your past declarations, not a random assortment of events happening to you, but the precise manifestation of what you've been affirming through your inner conversation. This understanding revolutionizes your relationship with your daily experience. Consider a typical morning. You wake to bills on the table and automatically murmur, "I can't keep up. I am drowning in debt." What most people don't realize is that this seemingly innocent murmur isn't just a description of your situation. It's actually a prayer, a command to the creative forces of the universe. You continue walking through your day, unconsciously repeating, "I am just getting by. I am tired. I am always behind financially." Behind the scenes of consciousness, these casual declarations function as precise commands to your subconscious mind, which then orchestrates events, opportunities, and circumstances to align perfectly with what you've declared. The tragedy is that most people remain completely unaware of this causal connection. They wonder why their financial situation never improves despite their best efforts, not recognizing that their habitual declarations are systematically undermining their actions. The journey toward financial liberation begins with a profound recognition of the impact of these everyday declarations. Start noticing how often you may be inadvertently commanding limitation into your experience through casual complaints, resigned acceptance of struggle, or unconscious financial pessimism. This awareness alone begins disrupting patterns that may have operated on autopilot for decades. What makes this insight so transformative is the realization that you're not trapped by your past declarations. The same creative principle that has manifested limitation when misused can manifest abundance when properly directed. The power hasn't changed, only your application of it. Drop "my word creates my reality" in the comments if you're beginning to recognize how your declarations have been shaping your financial experience. Let's examine what's really happening when you make these casual declarations about your financial state. Whether you realize it or not, you're essentially holding court in the kingdom of your mind, issuing decrees that your faithful servants, the powers of imagination, rush to fulfill. These creative forces don't question your wisdom or evaluate whether your declarations serve your highest good. They simply accept whatever you proclaim and begin arranging circumstances to match your word. This explains the perplexing pattern many people experience. New bills continuously arriving, fresh obstacles forming just as previous ones are overcome, unexpected financial setbacks appearing with frustrating regularity. When faced with this persistent stream of challenges, it's natural to conclude that the world is somehow cruel or that the economic system is rigged against you. But Joseph Murphy reveals a profound truth. The world isn't cruel, it's merely obedient. The apparent cruelty lies not in external circumstances, but in your own careless decrees. The misuse of the creative word has created financial suffering that Murphy witnessed repeatedly throughout his career. He received countless letters from souls tormented by this unconscious self-sabotage. One individual wrote, "I know the law of mind, but every time the rent comes due, I panic and repeat to myself, I can't pay this, I can't make it, and sure enough, I cannot." The decree fulfilled itself with perfect precision. Another person confessed, "I longed for financial abundance for years, but my mind kept echoing the phrase, 'I'm always broke.' And though money occasionally touched my hand, it always slipped away before creating any lasting change." This revelation exposes the hidden mechanism behind persistent financial struggle, not external economic factors, but internal declarations that command struggle into existence. What makes these testimonials so powerful is that they reveal both the problem and the solution simultaneously. The same creative principle that manifests limitation when misused can manifest abundance when properly directed. The transformation begins not with changing your external actions, but with revolutionizing your internal conversation. This understanding introduces a profound element of responsibility into your financial journey. Rather than seeing yourself as a victim of economic circumstances beyond your control, you recognize your role as the primary author of your financial story. Every declaration you make plants seeds that must eventually bear corresponding fruit in your experience. The awakening process involves developing an acute awareness of these previously unconscious patterns. Start noticing when fear prompts you to declare limitation. Observe how often resignation leads you to affirm impossibility. Recognize when frustration causes you to decree ongoing struggle. This awareness itself begins interrupting patterns that may have operated on autopilot throughout your entire financial history. Share in the comments, "I am the author of my financial story," if you're recognizing your creative power in shaping your economic reality. Now, I want to reveal a profound truth about the relationship between your outer financial circumstances and your inner declarations. What most people don't realize is that the outward poverty they experience is merely the shadow, the visible projection of an invisible cause. The inward word you speak in consciousness is the root that produces the visible fruit in your experience. When you habitually declare lack, scarcity, or limitation, the law of mind must mirror these declarations with corresponding circumstances. This principle operates with flawless precision through what modern psychology recognizes as confirmation bias, the tendency to notice and emphasize experiences that align with our existing beliefs while filtering out contradictory evidence. When your dominant declaration is, "I never have enough," your perception automatically highlights every instance of insufficiency while overlooking abundance that doesn't fit your narrative. The revelation that transforms everything is this: the very misuse that has created limitation simultaneously proves the extraordinary power of the word. Think about this carefully. If your careless, unconscious declarations of want have built poverty so faithfully and effectively in your experience, how much more powerfully will deliberate, conscious declarations of abundance build riches? Joseph Murphy issues a clear directive based on this understanding. Watch your inner speech with vigilant awareness. Set a conscious guard over your imagination, recognizing it as the garden where all your life experiences are initially planted as seeds. This vigilance represents a fundamental shift from unconscious creation to conscious authorship of your financial reality. The practical application is elegantly simple, yet requires tremendous awareness. Each time you catch yourself sighing, "I am unlucky financially," immediately interrupt that declaration and replace it with, "I am blessed with abundant supply." Every time you hear yourself whisper, "I am always behind on payments," consciously answer with, "I am ahead and moving forward with increasing prosperity." This practice initiates what neuroscientists now recognize as deliberate neuroplasticity, the intentional creation of new neural pathways through repeated thought patterns. Your brain physically restructures itself based on your dominant thoughts, and this conscious redirection of your declarations literally rewires your perception, interpretation, and response to financial circumstances. The journey of transformation involves what philosophers call a paradigm shift, a complete revolution in how you perceive the relationship between consciousness and reality. Rather than seeing your declarations as merely describing what exists, you recognize them as creative, commands that determine what will exist. This represents the transition from passive observer of your financial circumstances to active creator of your economic experience. Share in the comments, "I am redirecting my declarations," if you've caught yourself making negative financial statements and are committed to consciously replacing them. Let me share a powerful approach that completely transforms how you relate to conflicting financial thoughts. When you catch yourself declaring limitation, Joseph Murphy advises against engaging in mental arguments or bargaining with appearances. Don't waste precious energy fighting against negative thoughts. This actually empowers them through your attention. Instead, simply speak the higher word of abundance and let the lower declaration die of neglect. This strategy mirrors what master gardeners understand about eliminating weeds. The most effective approach isn't constantly battling against unwanted growth, but rather directing all nourishment toward what you wish to cultivate. The weeds naturally diminish when deprived of attention and energy. In the same way, your limiting financial beliefs begin to lose their power when you withdraw your mental engagement and emotional investment. As the weeds of lack grew through your previous careless naming, the harvest of abundance will likewise grow through your conscious, careful decree. This principle reveals the symmetry of creation. The same law that manifested limitation when misused will manifest prosperity when properly directed. The mechanism never changes, only your application of it transforms. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by exploring a metaphor that perfectly captures how consciousness creates reality. Your mind functions as a fertile field, and every thought you think is a seed planted in that field. This revelation illuminates a crucial understanding. You don't choose whether to plant. You are always planting. The only choice available to you is which seeds you will sow. Every moment of every day, you're scattering seeds in the garden of your mind through your dominant thoughts, feelings, and especially your I am declarations. The question isn't whether you'll plant, but what harvest you're cultivating. Will you continue scattering the weeds of "I am poor," "I am struggling financially," or "I am unlucky with money"? Or will you consciously sow the golden grain of "I am wealthy," "I am abundantly supplied," or "I am a money magnet"? This understanding introduces a profound element of choice into your financial journey. While you cannot choose whether to participate in this creative process, you're involved by the very nature of having consciousness. You can decide which seeds you'll plant and tend. This represents the fundamental pivot point in financial transformation, the moment when you transition from unconscious creation to deliberate authorship. The awakening happens when you recognize that your current financial harvest didn't appear randomly. It represents the perfect manifestation of seeds you've been planting, perhaps unconsciously, through your habitual thoughts and declarations. This insight doesn't place blame. It offers liberation. If you've created your current circumstances through unconscious planting, you can create new circumstances through conscious cultivation. Type "I choose my seeds carefully" in the comments if you're committed to becoming more conscious about what you're planting in your mental garden. Let me reveal another profound insight about the relationship between your consciousness and your circumstances. The fertile field of your subconscious mind cannot resist what you sow in it through your dominant thoughts and declarations. This field doesn't question the wisdom of your planting or evaluate whether your chosen seeds serve your highest good. It simply mirrors with perfect precision whatever you plant within it. This revelation completely transforms how you approach financial challenges. Instead of complaining about the harvest of limitation you're currently reaping, redirect your energy toward changing the seeds you scatter. The field of consciousness has no ability to resist your decree. It must reflect what you sow through your I am declarations. Once you understand this principle, the misuse of the creative word no longer needs to be your portion. The journey of transformation involves elevating your inner conversation, lifting your speech from complaint to command, from resigned sighs to powerful decrees, from I am lacking to I am abundantly supplied. This represents a fundamental shift in your relationship with the creative process, moving from passive victim of circumstances to conscious author of your experience. This awakening introduces what philosophers call personal agency, the recognition that you're not merely describing your financial reality through your declarations, you're actually determining it. Your words don't just reflect what is, they establish what will be. This understanding places the power of transformation directly in your hands through the conscious direction of your inner dialogue. Now, I want to go even deeper into this topic by revealing what Joseph Murphy describes as the heart of this mystery. The jewel hidden in the field, the pearl of great price that transcends all techniques and strategies. Here we encounter a revolutionary insight. One word truly believed is infinitely more powerful than many words. Mechanically repeated, this revelation completely redefines how manifestation operates. If misused words of lack, spoken carelessly but believed, can bring forth poverty with such precision and persistence, then surely there must exist one word, one sentence, one holy decree that, when spoken once with genuine faith, ends all misuses and establishes forever the kingdom of wealth in your experience. The power lies not in endless repetition of affirmations or constant mental effort, but in the depth of conviction behind a single declaration. This understanding liberates you from the exhausting practice of trying to force abundance through mental strain or mechanical repetition. The transformation occurs not through how many times you declare, I am wealth, but through the quality of consciousness from which you speak it even once. Behind the scenes of manifestation, this principle operates through what psychologists recognize as cognitive embodiment, the complete alignment of your thoughts, emotions, physiology, and actions around a central belief. When you speak your declaration from this aligned state of being, you activate a resonance that the universe naturally responds to through corresponding circumstances. Comment one word with conviction if you're experiencing a paradigm shift in your understanding of the manifestation process. Let me share an insight that completely transforms how we understand the manifestation process. Joseph Murphy points to the divine pattern of creation itself as the perfect model. When God spoke the universe into existence, he didn't anxiously repeat, "Let there be light, let there be light, let there be light," over and over, desperately hoping something would happen. He simply declared once with perfect conviction, "Let there be light," and light was. This revelation illuminates a fundamental principle of consciousness. The divine word is spoken once, with absolute certainty, and the universe naturally bows in response. Most spiritual seekers completely miss this insight, imagining that the creative law is somehow moved or impressed by much speaking, by constant hammering on heaven's door through endless repetitions of the same request. The breakthrough understanding that revolutionizes your relationship with abundance is this. It's not repetition that convinces the creative principle to manifest your desires. It's conviction that silently repeats itself in the depths of your consciousness without requiring your conscious effort. The quality of your consciousness matters infinitely more than the quantity of your declarations. Consider how this principle operates throughout nature. The seed doesn't grow because you plant it 100 times in the same spot. Such an approach would actually prevent growth. It grows because you plant it once in fertile soil and then allow it to rest undisturbed. In this perfect metaphor, your declaration, "I am wealth," functions as the seed. Your subconscious mind is the fertile soil that receives it, And your faith, your quiet certainty that allows the process to unfold without anxious interference, is the essential rest that permits germination. This understanding liberates you from the exhausting mental effort that characterizes most approaches to manifestation. One decree, planted with genuine conviction and then left alone in peaceful certainty, will accomplish more than 10,000 anxious repetitions born from doubt. The creative principle responds not to desperation, but to authority, to the quiet confidence that what you've declared is already accomplished in consciousness. The journey toward mastery involves a fundamental identity shift, moving from the consciousness of a beggar, repeatedly pleading for what you lack, to the consciousness of a sovereign, declaring once what is already yours. This represents a quantum leap in your relationship with the creative process, aligning you with the original pattern of divine manifestation. Behind the scenes of consciousness, this principle operates through what quantum physicists recognize as coherence, the alignment of energetic vibrations into a single, powerful frequency. When you speak your declaration from a state of genuine conviction, you create a coherence field that naturally attracts corresponding circumstances through resonance rather than force. Leave in the comments, "I speak with divine authority," if you're ready to transform your approach from repetition to conviction. As we've explored this transformative journey together, I hope you've discovered the power that's been within you all along. The simple yet profound truth that your "I am" declarations are shaping your financial reality in ways you may never have realized before today. If you found value in these insights about the creative power of your words, please consider subscribing to this channel. I share these deeper spiritual principles of prosperity each week, revealing the hidden mechanisms that most financial advisors never discuss. I'd love to know that this message found its way to the right person. If you watched all the way to this moment, type "I am the master of wealth" in the comments below. It's not just a comment, it's your first conscious declaration in what could be the beginning of your financial transformation. If this conversation resonated with you, a simple like lets me know these teachings are making a difference. It's a small gesture that helps others discover these same principles that have transformed countless lives. There's another dimension to this teaching that we haven't yet explored, the power of revision to completely rewrite your financial past. I've created a video right here that shows you how to use this technique to erase financial failures and replace them with success. Click and join me there to discover how your past can actually be changed to support your new declaration of abundance. Remember, it only takes one sentence, spoken once with genuine conviction, to begin transforming your entire financial reality. That journey continues now.